Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I live in the city that never stops construction. Anyway, in today's video we are going to be talking quarter one, the good, the bad, and the disappointing. And what I mean by that is, if you know how quarters are in a year, they're separated into 3 separate months. First 3 months are one quarter, the next 3, the second, the next 3, the third, and then the last 3 are the fourth. So for quarter one, we are going to be talking the good, the bad, and the disappointing. The good being Kristin Hannah's The Nightingale. This book was so fantastic. I had talked about this in a different video, but this book absolutely destroyed me in every possible way that it could have. I had whiplash, I was confused, I was frustrated, I was annoyed, I was upset. I felt every single emotion in this book. There was not a second in this book that I did not stop flipping pages. I struggled to go to bed because I did not want to stop reading this book. I struggled to do any house chores because I didn't want to stop reading this book. This book changed my life. I intend on reading so many more Kristin Hannah books. This book was so good. The bad. Arm Candy by Jill Kargman. It's not that it was a bad book. It was bad characters. Like, the characters in this book were awful. Awful. And I don't mean like the characters as a person. I mean the characters and how they were written. I don't feel like anything that happened in this book should have happened in this book. I don't feel like anything in this book was worth my time. I really wish I had just DNF'd this book. I really did not enjoy it that much at all. The bad. I know, it was so bad though. It was so bad, you guys. And the disappointing. I just finished this book, The Book of Scandal. I enjoyed this book. I enjoyed it. I was disappointed though, because I had mentioned that it took me, at least up to 70% into this book to actually get invested in this book. I did not find myself wanting to read this book. I found myself wanting to do house chores and wanting to get other things done instead of struggling to do them because the book was so good. So overall, this one was just disappointing. I was not too thrilled with it. I feel like things could have happened a little quicker. I feel like there was like 360 pages in this book, something like that. 362 pages in this book. It could have been like 100 pages shorter. There were some things in here that I felt like weren't really needed, but overall, I enjoyed this book. I was just disappointed. So, with that being said, let's dive into them a little bit more. Kristin Hannah's The Nightingale is based off of World War II. It is based off of fact, but it is fiction. None of the characters are real people, but this book basically focuses on what the women did in the war, because we hear all about Hitler and all about the guys that were taken. You hear about all of those things, but what about the women that stayed home? What about the people that didn't go to war? What about the people that were at home? What were they doing for this war? And our 2 sisters that we have in this book were so insane to me. They were some of the strongest women that I have ever read in a book. They went through hell and back and hell again and back again and hell again and back again. There was never a moment in this book that I felt like shouldn't be there. This is a chunky book, you guys. I did not feel for 1 second that there was just fluff. It felt like everything in this book was needed. Everything in this book was important. And every character, their all of the character development that happened in this book was insane to me. There were so many times where I was just like, why are they talking to this person? Why are they working with this person? They should be steering away from that person. But really, plot twist, they should probably be getting closest to those people. So this book was just absolutely insane. I loved every second of this book. I would 100% go back in and read it again. And that says a lot. I mean, this book is so chunky, you guys, but I would 100% go back through and read this again. It was fantastic. Definitely my favorite book I've read this year, not including Onyx Storm. We don't include those. We don't include those. This is my favorite book that I have read this year. This has been like, this was, oh, you guys, this book. You guys, this book. Arm Candy, which was the bad. It's not that it was a bad book. The characters never developed. I feel like our main female character, what was her name? Eden. She is very childish throughout this entire book, and it made sense whenever she was like 19, 20. But as a 40-year-old woman, please be so for real. Please be so for real. This book was so frustrating. None of the characters grew, and if they did grow, they regressed. They went backwards. Nothing, nothing happened in this book where I was like, yes, finally, finally. No, I was like, oh my gosh, can we just please get to the end of this book? Can we please just get to the end of this book? I wished that I had enjoyed this book a little bit more, but I just didn't. I just didn't. I think I ended up giving this like a 2.75. It was just not a good book. It was just not a good book. There's not really much else for me to say except for Eden. I guess Eden, she wants to be a model, so she chases that life as a young woman. And instead of staying with the person that she loves, she runs away so that she can be a model. And then she wonders why she's lonely and sad. And I don't think that she's very complex. It's not that she's complex and I'm not understanding her. It's that she just doesn't grow. Like, grow up. Grow up, girl. You're in your 40s with an adult son. Please grow up. And this one, The Book of Scandal by Julia London. I got this as a blind date with a book over Christmas whenever we went to Williamsburg. But this one was overall a great book. Like I said, I enjoyed this book. I feel like it could have been a little shorter. I do not feel like it needed to be as long as it was. I feel like there was a lot of stuff where I was like, now that's just added for fluff. I really don't feel like it's necessary to the book. But overall, the main male character in this book, fantastic. The main female character in this book, fantastic. The character development for both of them, fantastic. She was a complex character. She grew, though. That was the difference between these two and why this one is bad and this one is disappointing. It's because this one I actually saw growth with our characters. I actually saw the things that I wanted to see at the end of this book. I felt like this book wrapped up beautifully. There was not anything left unsaid. There was not anything where I was like, now why did we have to hear about this, but we couldn't hear about that? Everything in this book was, I mean, great. It was just a little disappointing. I did not like that it took me so long to get into the book, and that's why it's disappointing. Not that the book itself was disappointing. I was disappointed that it took me so long to get into it, and that the beginning of this book was just way too slow for me. But overall, it's a pretty decent quarter. I don't think anything was like, why does my heater like to just kick on every single time I'm filming a video? But yeah, I hope you guys liked this video. I hope you guys get some book recommendations from this video. And please do not take my opinions of these books to heart. Please, if you want to read them, read them. Don't listen to me. If you want to read them, read them. But I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Make sure you leave a comment downstairs. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.